Good morning, golfers. Welcome to the Ladies' Tee, your show for all golf talk. We are live. We are broadcasting live from the Bethpage Golf Shop. I wish I could say it was a beautiful day outside. We do have a lot of storms rolling through the area in this northeast side. I'm your host, Megan Youngman, LPGA professional and director of instruction at Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York. Alongside me today is Lorianne Chirullo.
Good morning.
Good morning. Lorianne's the president of the Women's Metropolitan Golf Association. Lorianne, we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do, it's wonderful.
It is. I'm very excited. She's getting red over here because I'm about to read a lot of great things about Jean Bartholomew. Jean, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let me tell the audience, everybody, about Jean. Jean has an extensive background. It's just phenomenal, actually, if you hear some of these stories. She grew up in Garden City, right down the road from us, where I'm staying myself, so it's nice to be right down the road from you, Jean. She graduated from Duke University, where she finished second in the NCAA championships. After playing on the European Tour, the Japan LPGA and Asian Tours, she played on the LPGA Tour regularly from 1996 through 2009, right?
About that, yeah.
About that, and recorded 10 top 10 finishes. Jean competes on the LPGA Legends Tour and in the LPGA Teaching Division events and in an occasional LPGA Tour event. In fact, we were just talking about the LPGA Tour being in Toledo, Ohio this coming week.
One of my favorites.
Love Highland Meadows.
Because my aunt lives in Toledo, so I'd never miss that.
Which is crazy because that course was my home course. So that's what we had in common.
Yep. Very nice.
Very nice. Jean has qualified for the KPMG Women's PGA Championship every year since 2009 and has played in the inaugural and second U.S. Senior Women's Opens. She's a four-time winner of the LPGA National Teaching and Club Professional Championship. She set the course record shooting a 62.
Wow.
I can't even fathom.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing. At Kingsmill in the last round of that event in 2009. Newsday, locally, Newsday has selected her of the Elite 33 Long Island athletes of all time, and she was one of the first group of inductees to the Nassau County High School Athletics Hall of Fame. Jean now has been teaching since 2009, and she's at the Engineers Country Club.
Yep, in Roslyn Harbor.
In Roslyn, which is great. Good morning, Jean.
Thanks for having me. I'm blushing.
She's completely blushing. So we've got, I have a few questions, for you. I want to hear a little bit, that's your biography, but I want to hear a little bit about when you started playing golf, when you were younger.
I started... trying to think, about 12 years old. I wasn't that young because I was like a 5-sport athlete, so golf was kind of the last addition. And my dad and mom played, but my dad was like a 3 handicap, and I used to trail along with him. We belonged to the IBM Club, which is now the Village Club of Sands Point. So it's great to have like a private club for $1 a year. It was just such a great place to have. They had a great junior program, and that's where I got started. But it really was just a couple of months a year because I was so busy with the other sports.
What other sports were?
Basketball and field hockey and softball, but my main sport was basketball, so that took up most of my time. And then golf was just a fun thing. I'd trail along, and then I ended up playing with my dad and his buddies on the weekends. It was just like a different kind of it was different back then. You'd play all the other sports and then play golf in the golf season, but we didn't just focus on golf. I didn't really take it seriously until I was maybe 15. I didn't even have a lesson. I shouldn't say. Like, I had little junior clinics and things, but I didn't even have a formal lesson until I was 15. So, yeah, I had a little different start. I think the kids today are just golf. They decide early and play one sport, and I kind of discourage that, honestly.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We do that too. We always, even our kids that are primary sport, their priority sport is golf, we always want them to be playing another sport as well, and it just shows,
you don't
with
burn
Jean's
out.
background.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
And physically, I think it helps you to become stronger, and your hand-eye coordination playing other sports improves, especially if you do it young. And if you only play golf, you're only working one set of muscles, where if you're playing basketball, all those other sports, you're getting stronger, more flexible, speed. So, which is all ties in and helps you become a better golfer.
It does. And, to that point, when you're a multi-sport athlete, you learn when you do pick a sport or anything in your life, that you're going to focus on, you're not scared of hard work.
Yeah.
And the work that goes along with it, you've been exposed to it for so long. I mean, I didn't start till I was 14, so I share Jean's story. I was involved in all the other sports. So
You were a skier, right?
I was a skier. Softball was my main sport.
Yeah. Played a lot of softball too, which I think everyone says, the softball and golf don't go together, but
They do,
I
very
think
much
they
so.
do.
That weight change, at the when you shift
Body
the weight
sequence,
for that,
right?
there-
From
and the
ground up.
strength, hand strength and arm strength, speed. So again, it's all
hand-eye coordination's big there. Yeah,
It is.
hard
every
to-
sport. I
It's
mean,
hard
I
to
did.
hit a fast pitch softball.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty hard.
Well, I used to be that catcher. So
Oh,
I
you
was
were the
that
catcher. I was the
that
pitcher.
little thing down there.
That's a tough position.
Getting my thumbs broken
It's hard
every other
to
week.
find a catcher. Nobody wanted to
Yeah.
be catcher. Wow.
Here
I'm
you go.
impressed.
Good times. So, Jean, now that we know when you started golf, so what's one thing when was your first tournament? I mean, if we look back, if you were 15 and you finally took a lesson, like your first major tournament that you played in as a junior golfer.
I think we used to play, like the Met section
Yeah.
had these Monday, the PGA Junior. It was great. You got to travel around the Met section and played great courses on Monday, and I think I started those even before my first lesson. But I would say those were my first events, and then we had like at IBM, the little
Yes.
junior club championship and stuff. But I was trying to think back when my first big tournament was. It was probably I went to. My dad took me out. I never flew, but I think I went to the Optimist in San
wow.
Diego. It used to be at Torrey Pines. I
Very
think
nice.
I was like 16 or something.
Wow. Quite a
And I
course
was
for
in
16
awe.
years old.
I remember
and-
seeing all these, like, there was a lot of foreign kids there.
Sure.
I was watching these two Japanese guys who were older than me. I'm like, wow, look at those golf swings. And
Yeah.
they had the coolest clothes and clubs. But that was my first big one.
Great.
But I didn't play a lot. They didn't have the HHG.
Well,
yet,
Yeah.
right?
That's exactly to my point. So did you continue to play these other sports?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you never
no.
absorbed yourself in just golf.
No, because I was planning on playing college basketball
Oh,
the whole
okay.
time.
There we go.
So or field hockey. So it was just kind of, I got really good at golf fast. So
Right.
it was kind of that decision right before college started. But
Sure.
no, I played. There was like the U.S. Girls Junior was at Somerset Hills, which
Yes.
was nice. It was local. Played a couple of those, but I really wasn't playing a lot of just the local stuff. The Met section does a great job with the juniors, and even back then they had something every week almost to play in, which
Yep.
was nice. And Smithtown, there used to be the Met PGA Junior Chat. I'd say that would be it.
Right. That would be the tournament.
And I just remember in the junior, this is a funny story if you want a funny story. I don't want to take all the time, but when I first started and there'd be these local little, I had a wicked temper, and then anybody who knows me back then, people who didn't know me back then, I just remember when I was a kid, I'd kick the ball off the green. Like if I'd miss a putt, I'd whack it off the green. And there was one girl I always played with, and she'd run and pick it up and put it back down and be like, "You have to put it in the hole." I'm like, "No, I hate putting." Like it was just crazy. I had wicked temper. I don't know how I got it under control, but I was kind of infamous when I was younger, and even on the beginning of the tour for my bad temper. You wouldn't know that knowing me now, but.
Well, I think that just shows your passion and and how much you
A
wanted
lot of
to
club
do well.
throwing and kicking. Like I just kicked the ball off the green. Just like this is stupid, And like when you think back, how did I get away with that? But I did it.
Well, I'm certain that they wouldn't let you get away with that on the LPGA
No.
Tour.
Yes, that's true.
Well, speaking of the LPGA Tour, who would be your favorite LPGA player on tour to play golf with? I'm sure that's a tough question, but who would be your favorite tour player to maybe play golf around with?
I think I was lucky because I kind of joined the tour like '96, so I got to play with Annika. I got to play with Julie and Patty Sheehan and those guys while they were winding down their careers, and then I got to play with Lexi as she was starting. So I kind of was in that, when I was still trying to play a little bit after I retired, I'd still play a few events. So, I played with Jan Stevenson. Hollis Stacy is a great person to play with. Amy Alcott, you can learn a lot from
Wow.
Amy. Rosie Jones. There wasn't one particular, there's Suzanne Pedersen. That was fun to play with her at a British Open. We were like, anything you could do, I can do. I'm like, get at it. You get so riled up. Some people you just want to kick their butt, but enjoy playing with them. But playing with Annika was cool.
That was great.
That was cool. Like you could outdrive her by 50, and then she'd hit her 7-iron to, I'd hit my wedge to 20 feet, and she'd hit her 9-wood to 3 feet. I was like, wait a minute.
That makes
I shot
Annika.
75, and she shot 69. Like that looked really easy, but just to get to play with her a few times was cool.
That's great.
But there's no one particular. And playing with your friends, whoever your good buddies were,
Right.
like Beth Bader, or, you met Betty and Amy Langles, those kind of people. Sometimes it's fun to play with your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's not one particular. You always try to learn from the
Well,
gals.
you had such great gals back then to play with. I mean,
Oh,
those
yeah.
names, I used to follow as well. We're gonna come back with Jean. Jean was actually one of the longest drivers on the LPGA Tour in 1998, and we're going to talk a little bit about how she gets herself to hit the ball that far. We're going to head to commercial, and we'll be right back.
Spine Care Technologies is an amazingly innovative medical device company. Their flagship product, the ExtendTrack Elite, is world-renowned among pain management centers, sports medicine experts, physical therapists, and chiropractors. Spine Care Technologies is dedicated to improving sports performance by relieving acute, chronic back pain and its disabling effects. The ExtendTrack Elite is FDA cleared, non-surgical, drug-free, and has been praised by health professionals around the world for its excellent clinical results in treating low back pain. Learn more at spinecaretechnologies.com.
The all-new Hyperflex from FootJoy is tuned for golf, with every detail designed and developed with the golfer in mind. Starting at the top, it looks awesome. The fresh material on the upper provides a great fit that forms to your foot and is fully waterproof. Next, the all-new Rapid Fit system ensures a dialed-in, precision fit, wrapping your foot in complete security. It offers incredible comfort with the new Stratofoam midsole, coupled with the OptiFlex outsole so that the shoe and the foot move in unison, whether walking or swinging. Available now in laced and the new Rapid Fit system. Shop now at footjoy.com.
Hey, have you guys seen the new TaylorMade driver? Introducing the TaylorMade Sim 2. Built differently around a forged aluminum ring that shifts weight in new ways. They made it so long and forgiving, golfers can't wait for their next chance to tee off. Sim 2 gives every golfer the confidence to swing away every time they step up to the tee. Only from TaylorMade.
That's funny.
Welcome back. We are sitting here. Oh, so lucky to have Jean Bartholomew with us, LPGA Tour player, and also Lorianne Cerullo on this beautiful, not so beautiful day here in the Northeast. But we are staying dry in the Bethpage Golf Shop. We left off with a fantastic. A fantastic topic because Jean was the longest driver on the LPGA Tour in 1998, and she was among the longest drivers in almost every year that she competed. So, Jean, what's your secret to adding distance to your drives? I mean, your drives versus all of us here in our audience. We absolutely watch the tour, and we see these numbers, especially the girls nowadays.
Girls are killing it. Yeah,
they are,
really
but the equipment also has changed. But
Equipment,
what was
yep.
your secret always? I mean, is it because you played with the boys? How did you always generate so much power and learn that from when you started golf?
I think I was lucky that I was not born, but like I always hit it far from the get-go, so I didn't really have to work on it to an extent that, like, some people have to learn to make the ball go far. So I had the distance from the get-go, and then refining your swing to hit it more solid. And I had a pretty funky swing because I didn't have lessons when I started, so I looked like a gazelle with doing a plie, let's say. But right, but my coach Gil McNally was the head pro at the Garden City Men's Club so I was like one of the few women who could hang out there. It was pretty cool. That's where I took lessons, and refining your swing a little bit helped me hit it a little bit further. But if anything, a note to people, there's no one way to make it go far. You have to use whatever body part that you are the strongest and can make speed with, just like in softball. So I think I was pretty flexible. I never was a torquer, but I was a swinger.
That's why we call you Jean Bean.
Yeah, but I could make a lot of speed with my hands, and I think that comes from other hands and hips and length of swing or, arc.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So there is no one way, and I think I teach a lot of that with my students to just take a rip at it. I think some of it's mental. And I think over the years I've lost some of that, getting a little more
because they're too
tentative.
careful. They're too
Yes.
careful
Yeah.
over the ball, and they almost need permission. I have a junior golfer of my own, and that is heavily competing right now, and she is phenomenal. And every time I'm watching her on the range, I'm thinking, we can get 10 more yards out of this club. And so last year, I decided after we got her swing in places where she could generate the power, I gave her permission. And I said, you know what? You have an 8-iron? What flag are we hitting it to? She says, the red. I said, I want you to hit that to the blue. That's all I said. She hit it to the blue.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a
11 more
mentality.
yards.
Yep.
11
No, it
more
is.
yards.
It's a
So
mentality.
you got to have permission. It certainly is. Well, Lorianne, what's going on in your world over there with the WMGA?
Well, actually, this week, and similar, Gene, to what we had talked about, we had the Griscom Cup a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
where from the adult elite in the WMGA, we played against our sister groups
I
in
played in
Pennsylvania
that.
and Massachusetts, and you have. And we have a junior version, the Junior Inner City, and we were hosting that at Arcola Country Club, and in the sweltering heat on Tuesday and Wednesday, we had 6 gals out there, but the WMGA was victorious
Yay.
again, so we have both trophies home.
Congratulations.
So
Congrats.
it's great.
That's so great.
And so we're kind of getting into junior mode now, and we're doing the Marine Orcott, which you mentioned
Yep.
before. We have AJGA stars
That's
for
great.
that. And, part of the thing that, Gene, just to segue on what you said, is like, I think nowadays there's so many junior events that are going on. You almost can't do another sport because by the time you piecemeal the schedule together, it leaves you very little time for a second sport. It's hard. And we have 2 events, the Junior Open, which is open to any girl. You don't have to have a handicap, and we have that one at White Beaches, and then we have the Marine Orcott. And it is just, wonderful to see these gals. And you talk about at Enos Cup, there was a gal who fit in my shadow and half my size, and she got it out there 200 yards. And it's like you said,
Love
speed,
it.
a little torque.
Love it.
And some of the other girls were almost driving the greens on par 4s.
Yep.
And it's just wonderful to see. And yes, there is flexibility. I mean, I cannot put my foot in my ear anymore, and they still can from that
can't.
perspective.
I'm not even going to try. Well, locally,
Should we
Jean-
all try?
Yeah, should we try that now? We are. We do have this on camera, maybe. But locally, Jean, you were the winner of the Women's Met Open 2018 as well as in 2009. We've got the
And
Met Open coming up
last
Monday
year-
and
Yep,
Tuesday.
I know.
I'll see you
What
there.
Met Open?
Yeah, right. How are you preparing for that?
Practicing a little bit, trying to get out and play a few holes. But I kind of, because I teach now full time, I don't put that. I shouldn't say it. Of course, you're defending, but you're trying not to put pressure on yourself to expect yourself to play like you did when you played full time. But getting out in the course, playing holes by yourself, and then I played with some members, and I played an assistance event Monday, which was good. Any competition you can play, because
Keep
we
up
really
competing.
missed a whole year,
Right.
But especially the senior gals, we lost the Senior Open, Senior LPGA, no Legends last year. The only tournament was the Met Open
Yep.
for us, so you feel like, oh God, I really haven't competed a lot. So this is kind of the first one in a step of, we have I think 3 or 4 more big events coming up. The
Great.
Senior Open, Senior LPGA, our teaching nationals, the LPGA at Kings Mill.
Right,
So I'm
that's
like,
going to
"Ooh."
be great.
That's great.
It's
Yeah.
the same week as the Senior Open, though.
Oh, how are you going to do both?
It ends on Tuesday, and you have to. The teaching nationals ends on the Tuesday, and then I guess I have to fly back, practice on Wednesday, and the Open starts Thursday. I
Wow,
still haven't
that's
decided
gonna
what
be
I'm going
great.
to do, but it might. Hey, play your way into the Open.
And that's it. The Senior Open is at
Brooklawn. Yeah, I
Yep.
played once. I'm going to try to get up and play another round, so I feel comfortable that I have my practice rounds in. Then I
Right.
can go play Kings Mill.
So you don't have a practice round for this tournament?
No,
No? And they don't have a driving range?
it's okay.
So how do you do that?
They said I don't know, swing the orange whip and or go down the street to another course and try to hit some balls. But same for everybody. You got to look at it. It's the same for everybody. Right. So I'm hoping I remember
love
Apple
that you
Moments,
just said that. I love that she just said that because a lot of our players are out on the golf courses, whether we have weather or it's hot or there's all various types of conditions in these tournaments, and you have to think we're all underneath the same sky, so everybody's going to be dealing with the same issues.
That's like people. It's like, oh, I hate slow greens. I'm like, I hate fast greens. So you got to say, I love slow greens. You can hit it harder. I love fast greens because you just kind of have to embrace whatever condition you play. And if I play well next week, great. If not, it's just kind of a stepping stone towards the Open and the. Mm-hmm.
I love your positive outlook at how you're just constantly just looking ahead. Like, it's okay how I play. I'm going to.
Yep. Well, and trust your
I've had my little panic moments last week. Believe me, ask Woody from Pete's Golf. I'm in there. Give me a driver. I don't have the driver I like. And I'm running around. I took a lesson yesterday because I'm in a little. I've done that my whole career. I have the pre-tournament panic. It's just part of my DNA. Ask anybody who's caddy for me. Like I'm a total freak, and then as soon as the tournament starts, it's like fine. And pro golfers are weird. We're weird people. So
well, we're going to follow up with how weird you are after we come back from commercial break.
If you suffer from low back pain, joint stiffness, or sciatica due to herniated disc or acute facet joint problems, you need to know about a spine therapy device called ExtendTrack Elite. ExtendTrack Elite incorporates multi-axis spinal positioning, traction, and joint and soft tissue mobilization. Your doctor or therapist can use ExtendTrack Elite to move your body into pain-relieving, therapeutic positions that keep your body relaxed as your spine is mobilized. Learn more about ExtendTrack Elite at SpineCareTechnologies.com.
Ever hit that one perfect iron shot and think, well, that's the one shot that will keep me coming back? Well, why does it have to be one shot? Why can't it be 5, 10, or even 50 shots that keep you coming back? That was TaylorMade's inspiration when they designed the all-new TaylorMade Sim 2 irons. Their unique catback design is engineered for more forgiveness, more distance, more often. Feel what it's like to play with better irons with the all-new Sim 2s from TaylorMade.
FootJoy sets the standard for golf shoe performance and style in 2021 with the all-new Premier Series, inspired by golf shoes of the past, but supercharged for today's game. Designed in collaboration with the world's best players like Justin Thomas, Adam Scott, and Max Homa, the Premier Series features classic styling with premium waterproof leathers and great details that exude craftsmanship. That is complemented by state-of-the-art comfort and performance features like the VersaTrax Plus outsole. Learn more about the Premier Series at footjoy.com. Hey golfers! Most of you have heard about the championship golf course at Bethpage Black, but it surprises me how many people don't know that there are 4 other courses. Not everyone needs to be a scratch golfer to play at Bethpage. The other 4 courses are set up for beginners, women, juniors, and high handicappers alike. After golf, visit our 4,000 square foot pro shop where every item down to golf balls are logoed with the Bethpage Black logo. Visit BethpageGolfCourse.com for more info or to shop online.
Oh, Jean Bartholomew, we have my favorite. I'm so glad you're here for this one because I have my favorite segment called Let's Hit It. It's where we hit issues that affect all golfers. And this is going to be great because we were just talking about this and you were mentioning how weird professional golfers can be. But we have a question from June, and her, she said, as a professional golfer, how do you settle your nerves and stay calm during a tournament? How would you recommend that ladies stay calm in a regular golf game, whether they're kind of like playing in a group for the first time kind of nerves? And, to speak on that just a little bit, we have always talked about breathing and pacing and so forth, but first time, just for you, June, first time kind of nerves, they feel the same no matter what the nerves, what the variables are, just like a tour player going onto the first tee. But speak a little bit about that, about what you do for nerves. because you have a hot temper.
I'm a nervous Nelly. I always was a nervous, shaking, hand shaking, knee shaking, and I would just first in the beginning, you're like everybody can see you shaking, and then I talked to I asked Julie Inkster, I asked Sherry Steinhauer, I asked other players. I'm like, are you as nervous as I am? And then they said, oh my God, I'm so nervous all the time. I'm throwing up before I tee off. So that helped me relax a little. I'm like, oh, they're great, winning everything, and they're nervous. But then I kind of learned that it's more adrenaline than nerves. So that feeling you're getting is actually the adrenaline shooting through your body, not nerves. So I'm a high adrenaline player. When I have that good adrenaline going is when I'm playing my best. So I've actually played some of my best tournaments feeling like shaking it like a leaf. So
Really?
I kind of learned that I can still perform under that. So kind of once I learned it was more about adrenaline and learning how to control it if it's too much, the deep breathing and the Vision 54. I went to some Vision 54 classes, and they helped me with some techniques of how to distract myself during the round and things to think about, like looking at houses or looking at the cloud formations or talking with your caddy. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to kind of get your mind off. But when you realize everybody else is nervous too, it makes you accept it a little more. It's like, okay, everybody else feels like this too. It's just adrenaline, it's okay. You'll get through it. And then, once you have a few good tournaments being that nervous, like feeling like you're going to... I once hugged a tree on the first...
Did you really?
My caddy's like, go and give the tree all that energy. So I'm like hugging a tree before I tee up with Julie Inkster and Kari Webb in the final round. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to make a fool of myself. And then I played great, but I was so nervous. But maybe the tree took some of the nerves. It's weird. Yeah. I told you, we're weird. Professional golfers are weird, right?
Well, I think that goes for everybody, when they're playing in their tournaments.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, everyone has the nerves, and a lot of it is to focus and to take that adrenaline and use it into the positive way as opposed to the negative nervousness and actually channel it.
Well, and I'm so glad we're talking about this too, because, if we think about, we have a ton of new golfers right now, and female golfers obviously too, but everybody's picking up the game, male, female, everybody is. I mean, again, COVID was awful, but it did something for the industry, and we're seeing this influx of new golfers, and now they're not just... Now they've learned golf. Now they're going out on the golf course, and now they're playing in front of other people. And what's the first thing that they say?
I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm like, stop it.
And, and there's people behind me. I said, they're supposed to be behind you. And they say, well, they're right there. They're on the tee box when we're hitting our second shot. I said, that's where you're supposed to be in relation to the group in front of you. So they're supposed to be there, and there's a lot of different nerves that are happening. And then, they're going through the new golfer phase of not playing well, or not transferring those good shots from the range to the golf course. But those things such as go ahead and hug a tree, do anything you need, but you need to do something physical, honestly, something physical. Like something like squeezing your hands together, something physical to get that adrenaline under control. Yep. It's got to be on its same wavelength. But ladies, thank you so much for today.
Thanks for having me.
Lorianne, thank you. Jean, especially, thank you for coming all the way here.
Anytime.
Okay, great. We'd like to thank our sponsors, The Golf Institute, thegolfinstitute.com. If you haven't heard this radio show or you want to hear it again, we encourage you to go to thegolfinstituteradio.com. Thank you to Titleist. Thank you to FootJoy. Thank you to TaylorMade, our primary sponsor, Spine Care Technologies. You have put us on the air, and you certainly keep us on the air. We can't thank you enough. Jay Lindenberg, and also thanks again to Fairway and Green. You have just jumped on board to help sponsor these shows. We are so happy to have you. Coming up next is Little Sticks with Justin Koff and Dan Frankel. We are going to be back with Kelly Brook at 8:30 for Faults and Fixes. Make it a great day out on the links.